Cool, man. Well, let's get into it then, Ref.
Yeah, go for it, man. You want to
So
explain to people what's going on?
yeah, we recorded yesterday's one, but we realised that actually it didn't work. So this is the second day we're recording it. So we're really just going to Adam and I. We're actually cousins, so we just found that we've been on phone calls. We always chat and touch base. We've got so much in common, and we share some really similar views on a lot of things. So we just thought one day, we're always talking about all this really cool stuff, and we've got mates, and we've both come from industries, um, and we just both feel that we really just want to share our viewpoints and who we are as guys, and who we are becoming too, and what we're doing to become where we want to get to. And so we just thought, look, let's just do a live conversation and see where it takes us from there, because I think we both feel that we really want to share and get our message out there. And I think the best way for us to do that is to just talk about it and see where it goes. And really what we're doing is we're not here to market, we're not here to push any products like initially, or any things that we want to sell, that we've put time and energy together to do that. But we just want to document. We just want to open a conversation and, see where it goes from there. And yes, we both have our expertise and our skills and our knowledge that we've acquired over the years, and through our own passions and interests. And, we are putting together programs. We have got dreams that we want to achieve and to share with everyone else. And, we've invested in ourselves time, energy, and money as well. So, the more you get to know us, and if it resonates with you, keep watching us and join in on the conversation as well, So, that's really our agenda. Our agenda is to just start a conversation and see where it goes from there. All in mind is we want to serve. We really want to give as much value as we can through our conversations and through our knowledge. What do you reckon, Adam? Is that have I covered?
Yeah, that sums it up really well, man. And
Yeah.
I think our approach as well is just to talk openly and naturally,
Yep.
because we want to expose ourselves 100% for who we are and what we're doing. A lot of the time, when you expose yourself online, there's, I guess, like a criteria you're trying to meet. You're trying to like portray a certain image. You're trying to like resonate with a certain group of people, or you're worried what people think. You're trying to get you're trying to get likes or stuff like that. You're basically looking for something to get out of it. There's a little bit of an agenda behind it. So yeah, we just thought we wanted to just talk, and we're just going to talk openly, and let our conversations flow like they always do,
Yep.
um, without feeling pressured to not speak about this because it's offensive to some people, or not speak about this because maybe our credibility or our image will be tarnished, or whatever it is like that. We're just going to be like really transparent and really open, and talk really freely, because I think we both feel like that's pretty important.
Yep. Yeah.
Yeah.
100%, man. And I think for me, like, I don't know about you ads too, but like I've really been going through a period in my life where I want to practice a lot more vulnerability, authenticity, and transparency. It's something that I didn't really grow up a lot around, and so I've been learning that from teachers, mentors, and even just listening to content online around that. And the more I step into that, the more I feel at peace with myself and feel I want to give more. Like it's just it's a natural progression. So yeah,
Mm.
for me that's what I really want to share, and also evolve myself
Yeah.
around as
Yeah,
well. Yeah.
that's cool, man. And
Yeah.
yeah, adding to that as well, by us exposing ourselves like this openly, like we're working on ourselves,
Yeah.
like we're giving up our self-criticism. We're working with that, building self-confidence by just talking openly, not worrying about what people are going to think. um, you know if people are even going to watch, like just letting go of things like that, that's us working on ourselves as well. So by doing this, yeah, we're sharing with other people and, opening a conversation for others to listen and engaging as well. But yeah, it's a opportunity for us as well to work with all our insecurities.
Yeah, man, I totally hear. I resonate with
Yeah.
you 100%.
Yeah.
So yeah, well, look, I guess, there was a lot of things we talked about yesterday. So how about we just, we'll start again. I asked you the question, in a nutshell, what's your story? Where did you come from and how'd you get here?
Yeah.
What have
So
you been up to?
I could talk for hours about this. I've worn many different hats over the course of my life, many different hats, and gone down many different paths. I think like exploration has been a really big theme for me. I've wanted to explore and experience like a number of different ways of living, as opposed to just taking people's words for it. So anyway, yeah, in a nutshell, to keep it short, like if I think back to the days in school, I always felt like I was trying to be molded into a certain person, or being told what to believe, how to act, what to think. That was my whole experience at school. I felt really strongly that it wasn't a sense of you being given any tools or any instructions or any support to evolve in your own way and grow in your own way. It was like, you grow in this way, and that's it. And if you're not growing in that direction, like, you get punished. You don't get rewarded in the way that you would if you're growing and being molded in the way that the system or the school system or the teachers or your family, expect you to be.
Yep.
So yeah, I felt that really strongly back in school, and that's why I was quite, I guess, like rebellious and causing a lot of trouble and disruption and stuff like that. And there's a lot of people like me as well. Like when I reflect back, I can see where that was coming from, because that was the only outlet that I had, to rebel. There wasn't any understanding of why. It's only now when I look back when I can understand. Oh, that's why I was doing all that shit. It makes a lot of sense now. And I think a lot of teachers as well. I had pretty good relationships with most of my teachers, surprisingly, because of all the problems that I was causing and creating. But I think that was because they didn't see me as like a malicious or evil or, angry person.
Yeah.
They could still see that I was, a good person, and I had good intentions. I had a good heart. I was just a little bit lost and trying to find my way in the world. So that was my experience in school in a nutshell. And then that carried on to, employment, like after school, working in the construction industry. That's a pretty rough industry. And yeah, same thing, just like, it just felt very unfulfilling,
Yeah.
and it was a bit like, is this really it? Like waking up, going to work, putting in your 10 hours, coming back home, dinner, spend some time in front of the TV, and, rinse and repeat. And then again, I didn't have any, I guess, guidance or support or tools to help me cope with that,
Yeah.
or what other things are out there or available in life. So it was just like, always, this is it, as a man, this is what you got to do. You get the job, you work, you make the money so that you can support a family, when you're ready. So yeah, basically, during that period, again, like I would rebel. My outlet was partying. So, every weekend it would just be like hardcore parties, with my friends,
I
alcohol,
remember,
drugs,
I
the
remember all the
works.
photos and the posts. It was
Yeah.
crazy.
And then, it would be rocking up to work on Monday morning, like completely fucked, having like no sleep over the weekend. And then like making that whole thing about working even worse,
Yeah.
amplified.
Yeah.
So yeah, so that was a period for me. And then at some point, I really opened up and started to look at other avenues and what else is out there. I was making a lot of money because, I was working these jobs, and I had my own business as well. But I wasn't using any of the money because I was never really into material things, status, nice cars, nice clothes. none of that mattered to me. So I was just like sort of accumulating money. And then I started traveling. I started exploring a lot of different parts of the world, which was really eye-opening. I started practicing yoga. I started dabbling in meditation. I started, hanging out with different people and different friends, which influenced me as well. And that's what really sparked my journey, to end up spending a lot of time in Asia, living in Thailand, in Chiang Mai for like 6 years,
Yeah.
going to India every year to keep learning and keep practicing.
Mm.
And yeah, it's been an ongoing thing. So even to this day, I'm learning and constantly changing and just doing my best to be open to that constant change, not stopping to be like, okay, this is it. I've got enough now, because, everything's always changing.
Yeah. And like, I remember, like, it felt like, even though we weren't talking a lot back then, like we didn't really know each other as well as we do now. Like I remember, I just felt like you made this really, like you just went on this journey really quickly. It was almost like, it felt like an overnight thing for me, like
Yeah.
you just went, screw this, I'm going this way and I need to discover myself down this path. And then all of a
Yeah.
sudden, like, you're in Thailand and all that kind of thing.
Yeah. It moved quick, man.
Yeah.
I guess, through all that exploration that I was opening to, it moved really quickly. And, I had the experience of, working that 9 to 5. And then I had the experience of owning my own business as well for 4 years, which I guess was something I needed to experience as well, because
Mm.
I guess when you're listening to what, I guess parents or family or other people tell you, it's like, you got to get a good job. That's the main thing. Get a good, well-paying job,
Yep. Yep.
And I realized, like, nah, that's shit. Like that doesn't matter that much for me, having this good, well-paying job. Like that's not the key to my happiness. And then the next sort of phase was like, you own your own business, because that will give you the freedom and purpose that you're seeking, So that was like the next step. And, the same thing sort of happened. It was the same outcome. And I remember specifically, like, because I got into electrical and air conditioning. That was my business.
Yep.
And, I remember specifically like quoting a job with a lady in her house, and her walking me around to all the different areas of the house, asking me like, what about if we put the air conditioner here? What about if we put it there? What about if we put it here? How's the airflow if we put it there? But will it look nice there, And I just encountered like all these people who were just obsessed with like the way their home would look, how their home was something that they could really show off to others. And it just really amplified that whole materialistic society, which, it's been something that I've never understood. I've never really, it's never given me a good feeling to have like a really impressive car or an impressive home. That's never done anything for me. So having my own business, it was like feeding into that, I was like working for a lot of people whose most important thing in life was like, having this really nice house and making sure that the air conditioner was placed perfectly. And then, maybe installing like a lot of fancy lights in the house as well. So yeah, at some point I had to just be like, yeah, look, this isn't what I want to put my energy towards. This isn't how I want to spend my days. So, I had to pull the plug on that as well.
Yep.
But, I had to experience that as well. I couldn't just hear that from someone like, hey, don't start your own business and make a lot of money, because at the end, it's not going to be fulfilling for you. Like you can't just hear that from someone and be like, oh, okay, I'll skip that step and I'll go straight to the like deeper exploration, because, you got to experience everything for yourself to really understand it, and to say completely that, okay, yeah, this isn't something that I want to do, or yeah, I've sort of moved past this phase now.
Yep.
Yeah.
Was that something that people told you about the business? Because I think a lot of people hear that, like,
I think so. I think
business is
like,
the only way, or et cetera, which, for some people it's not,
yeah,
like
definitely,
business is
man.
not
Like
their way.
I think, for for me, like being part of an Italian family, you know, it's quite a common thing. Like if I look at all my uncles, like, you know, my mum's sisters and brothers, and then my dad's as well, like, you
Yeah.
know, most of the families, everyone's got their own business.
Mm.
Um, and I think that's a pretty popular thing in Australia as well, to start your own business. But yeah, I guess that was definitely something that I looked to do, you know, even at a young age. It was always like that was the trophy, you know, your own
Mm.
business, you know, this freedom.
Yeah.
But then, you know, I guess like a lot of things in life, you get it and you realize, this trophy is actually not what I'm looking for. And then,
Mm.
you know, you have to start looking a little bit deeper. So I feel like I've done that sort of many times in my life where I've set a goal or I've set a trophy. I've got into that trophy relatively quickly,
Yep.
only to find that, okay, this trophy, it's actually not that valuable. It doesn't really give me a lot. It might give me a nice feeling for 3, 6 months, but then that slowly fades.
Yeah.
And I guess that understanding, like doing that a couple of times, really led me to understand that it's the inner work and the inner journey that's the important one, because
Mm.
everything external is going to end up feeling just like that trophy, you know, that you've
Mm.
gotten. It really doesn't give you that good of a feeling. It doesn't give you that sense of fulfillment, and it's at the end of the day, it's like kind of superficial.
Yeah. It sounds like
Yeah,
what you're saying is like whether you're in a business or you want to have a business or whether you don't, either way, um, it's kind of not around, it's around what you actually want to do and then it turning into a business. Like not the actual business per se. It's like what you're doing. It's what you're doing that the business is like just a vehicle, but it's like what you're actually doing or
it's
what
almost
you
like
want to
the
do with the
yeah.
business, you know, like what you were
I
saying
guess the
about your retreats and all that.
yeah, I guess the business would be something that just sort of manifests on its own through what you're doing.
Yeah.
It's
Yeah.
not something like, you know, you got to put so many hours a day into this business, and then, you know, after that you've got your free time or whatever. It's yeah, it definitely has to, you know, really be a passion and
Yeah.
something purposeful. And
Mm.
I think even the concept of like turning it into a business or having that goal is something that I'm cautious of now, you know?
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, because that sort of tweaks and changes everything, and you start to look at the external outcomes a lot more.
Mm.
So I feel like if that business side of things manifests itself naturally through what you're doing, then yeah, it's definitely great.
Yeah. You're 100% right. Like I agree because I went through a similar phase, you know, I was in a family business and it's still going, but I was, as I said, like, you know, with my father being Chinese and my mother Italian, like they're very entrepreneurial kind of
Yeah,
immigrant cultures in Australia where a lot of them had their own businesses and a lot of our families and relatives actually all run like pretty successful business as well. So it was kind of like,
yeah,
you know, as a kid, I'm just sitting there going, oh, okay, so success equals business. Doesn't
yeah,
matter what it is, but it has to be a business. And so rather than what I learned later in the life, like was that, okay, business is a great vehicle to like, to have the choice to become like financially free, like
yeah,
not just with a limited income if you're working, which is nothing wrong with the job. Really, there isn't. Like
yeah,
I've worked as well, right? But to get passionate about something and work out what you want to do and what's really important to you, and then the business kind of just you kind of find ways to make it a business, you know.
yeah,
Yeah, which is what I experienced as well, man. Which I think a lot of people are looking because at the moment, like especially with COVID-19, right? Like there's so much stuff online, like start a business, do this,
yeah,
that. There's so many options, but I think what I've learned and what I'm really passionate about is that you gotta like find out what you love first, and
Yeah.
then the business kind of just falls into place. What you were
Yeah,
just saying
exactly.
before, you know, everything
Yeah.
just kind of tends to take care of itself after that.
Yeah.
You'll attract opportunities,
Yeah,
um,
definitely.
and business opportunities that are aligned with what you really love, you know.
Yeah,
Um, yeah.
definitely, man.
So
Tell us a bit about your story, man, and what you've been doing, what you've experienced, and how you got to where you are now.
yeah, well, yeah, like as I said, like I was in the family business from a pretty young age, and throughout my life, I was pulled in like all these different directions, through other people's kind of advice, beliefs, mentor, and a lot around family because I spent a lot of time around my family. And um, you know, when I look back, I see my life as this kind of up and down roller coaster of wanting to explore and find myself, and then um, you know, getting influenced by other people. And so
Hmm.
I had a real like in my early like late teens and early 20s of really um, not having a lot of self-direction and a lot of confidence and a lot of um, clarity in who I was. And I kind of just I was on autopilot for a long time, a long time,
Yeah.
just not surviving, but just getting by,
Yeah.
you know, I had positions in companies. I started up businesses. I sold businesses. I worked in, you know, corporate companies. And looking back on it now, like I don't have any regrets around it. But um, the the journey that I went through, like allowed me to. It really all it's done is just forced me to really get to know myself. Like
Yeah.
looking back, you know, I should have just, it would have been awesome if I'd actually learned about myself and then started to
Mm.
put together like a career and all that kind of stuff. But the thing is,
Yeah.
it's all about um, people around you, and especially like your immediate family and parents. Like they they didn't have that opportunity. They didn't see that that was important, you know, like we're talking about now, really
Yeah.
choosing and doing what you love, and then working around and putting a business or a career or a job around that, you know.
Yeah.
So, you know, that's really kind of sums up where I've been and where I am today. Um,
Yep.
focus the last 5-10 years, I've just spent really investing a lot of time just going within and finding out like, who am I? Like, what am I good at? What am I here to do on this planet? Like, and it's taken me bloody ages, but when you just start to
Not an
discover,
easy question to ask yourself.
yeah, I know. Like when you start to kind of really put, when I started to put myself first, that's when things just started to really take off, you know.
Yeah.
Um, so yeah, man, that's pretty much me in a nutshell up until now.
Nice,
Um,
man.
yeah,
Um, I think, yeah, that's interesting, man. Because I'm the same. Like, I didn't really have any guidance to take these kinds of steps or these kinds of initiatives through my life. It came, I wouldn't say later in my life, but it sort of had to come through a little bit of self-discovery
yep,
and self-exploration and experimentation.
yep,
And I feel like that's coming with the new generations. Um, People are starting to realize that earlier and earlier.
mm,
Whereas with, the older generations like our parents, especially say our grandparents, for example, who, migrated to Australia, like they had it hard and survival was hard, just surviving.
mm,
So there was no real opportunities, I think, to explore yourself and explore like, who am I really? Like, who do I want to be in the world? Like, what's important to me? Like, they didn't have a opportunity to even think about that. They were just like making sure they had a roof over their heads and food on the table for them and their kids, which was
yeah,
hard enough.
yeah,
And then, it's sort of similar for our parents, but a little bit less in the sense that survival became a little bit easier.
yep,
And then, with our generations now, survival is, you know, it's sort of, look, it's not always easy. There's definitely challenges, but we're not like, scraping through, or we don't have this pressure of like, shit, am I going to have a house over my head? Am I going to have enough food? Those things are sort of taken care of.
Yeah.
So more and more people are opening up to, this type of exploration now.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I feel that. Yeah, I really feel that. I've kind of been observing, and it's come up in a lot of conversations that I have with people around. I just feel like, yeah, we are entering, like, even 2000, year 2000, we kind of, if you believe in it or not, like, I know, I was doing a lot of reading on like the Kundalini and like the new age of, like, I think we've gone from the matriarchal age, which is like, the age of the masculine. Now we're going
Yeah.
into the feminine, patriarchal age.
Yep.
Is that right? No, it's patriarchal to matriarchal. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
So, and it's now we're starting to connect with more who we are. Like, men are starting to actually,
Yeah.
all these men's groups are popping up.
Yep.
Women moving into more, empowering roles. Men are kind of like getting more in touch and in tune with themselves, and starting to actually see that, it's actually okay to even do meditation as a bloke, or it's even okay to like eat whole foods as a male. Like, I even see, like, when I was in the construction industry, like, we both come from there, like, I'd be on site and some guys would be eating pies and chips, but then there would be other guys that would be eating like quinoa salads, right?
Yeah.
And it's like, you would never see that back then. But it
Yeah,
wouldn't be
man.
like, a guy wouldn't, he'd be eating that like around the corner or somewhere,
Yeah.
like where his mate, like,
In the
I'm going to go
toilet,
off, or in a toilet.
hidden in the cubicle.
Exactly, and so, like, it's just awesome to see that it's actually becoming, look, trendy to do that. But hey, who cares? Like, if it's trendy, great, but it will eventually become normality, which it's already starting to become, So that's what I've noticed as well. And not
Yeah.
just in food, but in, guys doing yoga on YouTube,
Yeah.
even different types of exercise. It's not just like full on weights in the gym now. It's like
Yeah.
CrossFit's a form of like, working without weights. Oh, that's for girls. No, but it's actually working with your own body weight and stuff. So it's just
Yeah.
so many things that I think we've seen change over the years, but we've kind of taken for granted that actually we already have come a really long way in evolving consciously, like, in our society. And I think it's just going to get better, to be honest. Yeah.
Yeah, I think you're right, man. And yeah, it's I think we've spoken about like, this modern day male like quite a bit when we talk, because we both came from that construction industry. So we both like experienced that. And I remember, like, I'm on site working and, telling people I do yoga, and they're like, what the fuck you do yoga? Like, what is it? What's the yoga? It's just stretching, isn't it? And
Yeah.
like, I never really had people like, giving me shit about it or whatever. But I guess that's because, I'm pretty comfortable in my own skin. Like, whether I'm doing yoga or meditating, like, I'm pretty okay with what I do, and I'm not that fussed about trying to please others or what others think. But there's definitely like a stereotype there that like you're a bit weird, or you're a bit fruity, for doing yoga or for meditating.
Yeah.
Or for eating vegetarian, or for eating healthy,
Yeah. Yeah.
And yeah, I think it's good that more and more people are like opening up. And yeah, like you said, there's men's groups popping up everywhere. Like, I see them everywhere I travel, and that's pretty cool, man. That they're just groups for men to like support each other and, become mates and be able to like talk openly to each other, because there's that whole stereotypical thing of like, a man can't talk about his problems. A man has to like puff up his chest and just power through, because that's what a man's meant to do. The boss of the family, support your family, protect your family. And if you're down, if you're suffering, you don't speak about it, because men don't do that. And I think that's why there's like such high levels of depression in middle-aged men, and like even high rates of suicide. I think it's the highest rate of suicide is middle-aged men. So it's good to see all that stuff, slowly like opening up.
Yeah, man. Yeah, it is. I've noticed that a lot too. And I think it's awesome that we're doing this talk. You know, I hope there's guys on here that are kind of like, just it's. I think at the end of the day, it's all about like I always used to think like on the way driving home, and the guy eating the quinoa salad, right? And like, because I've been there too, and there's always the guys that are like, um, it's around feeling safe, whether
Yeah,
you're in a group of guys or on your own or around your family, about feeling safe to actually even talk about it. Like,
yeah,
there's a guy like he might want to do yoga or he might want to eat a quinoa salad every day, but how is the fear of actually being judged around that
mm, yeah,
petrifies a lot of blokey blokes that I
yeah.
know that are driving home on their own in their ute or in their car on the way home going, just secretly going, you know what, I really want to make
I
that
want that
change, but I'm
I
just
want
like,
that quinoa salad.
yeah, yeah, but I don't have anyone around me to kind of like to do that with, or to like,
Yeah.
it's like it's very, um, yeah,
No,
it's
that's I think that's yeah, you're spot on there, man. Like that you feel a little bit isolated and secluded.
yep,
Um, I was very lucky, man, that I had two really close friends,
mm,
um, like childhood friends that started opening up like this with me at the same time.
yep,
So there was three of us, and we were all opening together. And because of that, like we opened really quickly, man.
mm,
And we weren't like um, we weren't too worried or concerned. If we were doing it on ourselves, and like some people looked at us like we're a bit weird. Maybe that would affect you, and you'd feel a bit insecure. But yeah, because there were three of us, all doing it together, supporting each other, like there was no insecurity about it. It was just all like unfolding really quickly.
yeah, yeah,
So I think that comes back to the men's groups, man, which can be really helpful.
yeah, 100%. Yeah, yeah.
Mm.
You are like, I think you're really fortunate to have mates that grew up with you, that you've known, that you've had that like really strong bond with.
Yeah,
Like compared to like some other guys, even myself, like I had one other best mate, but we're like our age gap difference is huge and we don't see each other a lot. So
yeah,
kind of like for me, it was a really lonely path,
mm,
um, and yeah, it really helps. Like if I think it's just like the in like the invitation, like somebody to see that it's actually okay to, like, if you don't have people around you, if you don't have a mate or mates to actually like grow with in that
yeah,
direction, then it's like, where else? How do you make that move? Who do you reach out
yeah,
to? Like, it's a big
yeah,
risk to message someone and go, hey man, like I really want to do this, can you help me out?
yeah.
Like, just that is like, I think, really difficult.
Yeah, I
um
think yeah. So 99% of men wouldn't do that
yeah, yeah,
because being vulnerable, like
mm,
um, it's not in like I guess because we have these sort of inbuilt, not desires. What's the word? Just these tendencies to want to protect
mm,
and provide and not show that vulnerability. Like
yep,
that's sort of inbuilt. Like we're constantly working to let go of that and stuff. It's a
mm,
constant progression to be
yep,
able to like realize when that's working against you and when these tendencies are just like subconsciously arising in you.
yep,
So yeah, I think for a lot of people, like trying to bridge that gap, like that's a big gap to bridge. And yeah, there definitely, you know, needs to be some ways to make that easier for people.
yeah, yeah, I agree. um I think we'll get there. And I know, like, I'm passionate about that. I know you're passionate
Yeah.
about that too. You know what? We had a conversation, I think it was like last year or something, when we did for the passion test or whatever.
Yep.
And we were talking about, yeah, I think we were talking about like, yoga and men, and I think we're talking about your mates and my mates and all that. I think, yeah, man. Look, I don't know how. I haven't figured out my own formula of how I want to do that and help. But hello, we lost you there. I think we've lost you, buddy.
Hey, oh, you're there.
Hey, mate.
Sorry, man. My phone just hooked up to this random Wi-Fi,
Oh, really?
which was really far away. I just switched it off.
Cool. Yeah, I mean, I was just having a rant on about, what we were talking about, how we want to contribute in the future, and what we want to try and create, or what I want to try and create as well for guys. Basically, just to help guys go through or get through this kind of like cut through this path that they want to get through.
Yeah.
And how to cut through that path, like the easiest way and the most safest way to do that, So
Yeah.
I haven't figured it out yet, but putting together some stuff, and I'm really excited to get out there soon. So
Yeah, nice, man. I think that's that's probably going to be one way of bridging that gap,
Yeah.
If there's someone there who's gone through it and sort of experienced it themselves, in isolation, who didn't really have any support and just sort of had to wander their way through it, then I guess you've got the experience to guide other people, going through those same circumstances.
Yeah, absolutely.
Nice, man.
What about yourself? Like, what are your kind of, in a nutshell, dream, like visions, or how do you want to kind of serve, or how do you think like right now, what's your, because obviously our ideas are changing all the time.
Yeah.
What's your kind of spiel on that? Your plans?
Right now, like, I'm just, because this whole COVID situation, all my plans have like completely been thrown upside down. So, I had plans. I came to Thailand. I did some meditation retreats, and then I was meant to help a friend with a teacher training yoga course. So we were meant to run that course together.
Yep.
But that all got cancelled and everything, and I ended up here on Koh Phangan in Thailand, sort of stranded on the island. So look, right now I've just been working on myself, and working on letting go of the need to be striving towards something, or pushing towards a goal or something like that, which is, that's a big sort of tendency for me. Like, I'm pretty motivated and driven. So I've always got like things in the back of my mind where like, yep, that's, I'm slowly stepping towards that or towards this. So yeah, I've really like taken this time to be like, no, I don't need to do that right now. It's a good time to just let go and recalibrate. So yeah, that's what I'm doing. I'm just doing yoga, every morning. I started learning Thai online. So I'm learning some Thai, a couple times a week, which I'm really enjoying. I got my books that I like to read, and I'm also just like giving myself permission to chill out and watch Netflix.
Nice.
And not feel like, I need to be productive, because that's something that, that's a tendency of mine, to feel the need to be productive. And if I'm not being productive, then, feeling guilty about that. But this whole COVID thing is like a forced, like, stop, slow down, take a break, recalibrate. So I'm letting all of that happen, which, I feel pretty good about. But in the future, I definitely feel like, I want to offer people the opportunity to explore themselves as well. And I'm not exactly sure how I'll do that, but for me, it comes around yoga and meditation. Like, they're the things that have really helped me and shaped me. And they're two things that I'm still, learning more about every single day, every single year. And that's why I came to Thailand, to take part in these meditation retreats. And after the lockdowns in Thailand are finished, I plan to go to North Thailand and do more meditating, because, you know, I sort of feel like there's a lot of meditation teachers and a lot of meditation stuff online, and you can do like a 50-hour course, and, you know, it sort of qualifies you as a meditation teacher.
Mm.
And I just feel like, you know, if I really want to help and share with people, like I want to go through the fire of my own mind, you know, I want to really experience it and come out the other side and feel confident and comfortable that, like, okay, like now I've experienced enough that I can guide people. Like, I don't think it's that good of a thing that you can do a 50-hour course on how to guide meditation, because that's what the courses, I guess, are about. Like, there's definitely good courses, don't get me wrong, but, you know, if you can go with no meditation experience and go to do 50-hour course in how to guide the meditation, then, you know, so you've got maybe some scripts or whatever to guide the meditation, but you haven't actually experienced the understanding or the transformation, or, you know, the fire of your mind, like the fire of the overactive mind, the anxious mind, the agitated mind. I feel like then what you can offer people is really going to be lacking. So for me, during this stage, I'm sort of working on myself, I guess, and I want to go down that path deeper.
Yeah.
And then once I'm done doing that, then I want to start sharing more openly with people, like what we're doing here, you know, do some stuff online, some really easy, transparent stuff. I think that's the direction that I'll end up moving towards.
Yeah. Cool, man.
Yeah.
It sounds awesome. I'm excited to see
Yeah.
I'm excited for the future, really.
Yeah,
It's going to happen,
it's
just a matter of when, right? So
definitely, man.
Yeah.
And, you know, I feel like I don't want to, it's not something that I need to force. Like in the past, when I was trying to do something, like I was always like pushing up against the wall, you know, like, come on, like I got to push through the wall. Otherwise nothing's going to happen.
Yeah.
Whereas now it's almost like, no, like I found the door in that wall. So I can take my time and, you know, just move to the side a little bit, slowly turn the knob, slowly open the door, and slowly walk through, as opposed to like trying to hammer down this wall.
Yeah.
And yeah, that's something that for me has just come with experience, because when you're trying to like smash down the wall, it's fucking exhausting, man. And whatever you're doing starts becoming a chore rather than something that you can enjoy and grow with.
I can resonate with that. I mean,
Yeah.
even like the other week, I was on the phone to one of my teachers who's teaching me at the moment around the passion test workshops that I'm doing. And I was just beating myself up, because I'm like, you know, I've just come out of this certification and I have got to get into it. I've got to sign up, you know, 100 people. And if I don't, then, you know, I'm failing. Like,
Yeah.
and she goes, you know what, like, you know, you've just been on the back-to-back course, like in the US time. So your sleep pattern's all screwed up. Like, and the day after you're expecting to get to like the level of, you know, like to where somebody's been doing it for 10 years. And I'm like, you know what, you're right. She goes, listen to your body, like give yourself the self-love that it's actually asking for. And when you do that, you'll find that things just afterwards will start to happen. Like you'll feel like you're in the right mind space after you've taken care of yourself to you know, to do this, to invite other people that what you're passionate about to share and all that kind of thing. So it's like,
definitely agree, man.
You know, the no tension part is just to look after yourself first, and everything kind of like will happen sequentially, and it'll just be so much easier. So I totally get you, man.
Yeah, I think that self-care element is like, really crucial, man. Without that, then I feel like everything sort of falls apart, or you haven't got this foundation to build on. Like, you know, if you're practicing self-care and you're doing what you need to do to stay in that, you know, good place, in a good mindset, you feel, you know, good about yourself, you're secure, then, you know, whatever you project out into the world is going to resonate with all those qualities.
Yep.
But if you're just like banging your head against this wall, I feel like what comes out, is it resonates with those sort of qualities where, it might be a little bit scattered, or it just won't be as clear, I think.
Yeah. You just end up getting really, yeah.
Yeah. And then, you'll probably start questioning, I think it's a slippery slope as well, because you would start questioning like, fuck, why isn't this working? What am I doing wrong? And then that just leads to more agitation and like more self-criticism. So I feel like it's a pretty slippery slope, man.
It's like, yeah, the word that came up in my head was it's a self-fulfilling prophecy. Like it feeds on, and it keeps going around and around and around.
Yeah.
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 Man, I've been there many times.
Yeah.
Yeah, man. Well, I reckon.
How long have we been chatting for?
Well, we said that we'd keep it short, to respect everyone's time and, to not kind of drag it out, because I know an hour can be quite long. But anyway, It is what it is. It's 50 minutes. And
okay.
I reckon, next conversation we have that we put up here, I think let's just talk about, what happened at the beginning of the year with us. It was we were both in and out of Thailand together, which was really cool.
Yeah.
But we couldn't even see each other.
Yeah, I know. We were both busy, working on ourselves.
That's right, man. Yeah, it was like on some massive personal development courses.
On the same island, but not able to see each other because we were so into what we were doing.
We've got to go to Vikasa, that whole food cafe, man, next time. It's amazing.
Oh, I know.
Oh, yeah. So let's have a chat about that. And
I think that'll be good, man. About, I guess, where we were, what we were doing.
Yeah.
When the whole virus situation erupted, and I guess how it affected our plans.
Yeah.
And then maybe also what we've been doing to, get through this period. Like what's been challenging.
Yeah. And what's been working for us too, like
what's been working, what hasn't, how we've been managing, that type of thing.
Yep. Cool.
Yeah. Awesome, man.
All right, mate. Well, good to talk to you.
Okay, good to chat with you too, Jamie.
Take care.
And you too. I'll chat with you soon.
Enjoy the Thai sunshine. It looks so warm over there.
It's really warm. It's only I think we started the call at 7:30. And it was already pretty hot, man. Now it's 8:30, and I think it's time for me to jump in the water here.
Go for it.
All right, man. See you later. Right. Take it easy.
Take care. See ya.